Marty Friedman. I'm really happy to be here doing this Hot Licks video for you. And today, one thing that we're going to really concentrate on is trying to be different as a guitarist. You really want to make yourself sound different. So I'm not just going to show you a bunch of solos and have you learn them and call it a day. I'm going to try to make you think a lot more. And I'm going to try to give you a lot of variations. And I'm going to show you how to figure out variations of your own. And I think that's the most important thing to do. So when you learn something, I think it's very important that you can think of 10 other ways to play it without just copying everything that you learn all the time. I think that's very important. So that's something I'm going to concentrate. Okay, I'm going to break this lesson up into 3 segments. The first segment, I'm going to give you some food for thought, where I'm going to give you like a whole bunch of unusual patterns to practice and a different way to get your mind geared for playing things that repeat. I'm going to show you some unusual patterns. And in the next section, I'm going to show you some exotic scales. Mainly, I'm going to focus on the Japanese-sounding scale, which is quite different, and it can lend to some really pretty melodic playing. And in the last section, I'm going to talk about theory. I'm going to talk about constructing a solo nicely and playing, you know, really thinking out every single note you play and following progressions and really making every note count instead of just playing the same old thing over a progression which has chord changes in it. Okay? So let's start by getting in tune, and I'll give you an A to tune to. All right? If you're in tune, let's get started. Number of it like 11. That means we're going to have to play 5 notes and then add 6 to it. So let's also make another variation at the same time. Let's make the 5-note pattern have a note higher than what we're using in the scale already. Now let's use A instead of G as the top note and use this as the 5 pattern. Okay, so let's add 6 notes to it, and let's use these as the 6 notes. You can have a repeating pattern like this. I'd like to do something else, and it's a way of picking an arpeggio. It looks like this. In the key of G, it would be here. Okay, that's quickly. It's a very basic 6-note arpeggio. And what we're going to do is play it slowly like this, and watch the picking, because picking is very important on this. You know, there's 2 downstrokes and then a hammer-on. And then an upstroke. Downstroke, pull off. That's the pattern. Okay, this is G minor. Now, let's add a variation to it, which hopefully by now you're already thinking of trying to do. And let's do a variation putting a basic pattern into that like this. Okay, let's add that to the arpeggio. But before we add that, let me show you exactly how to pick this. 2 downstrokes and an upstroke and a pull-off should do it for you. Okay, so let's put these 2 things together so we have a longer arpeggio pattern. That's what we're going to want, and together quickly it'll sound like this. This, obviously, you can move around anywhere you want. Okay, so that's what those 2 sound like together quickly. Now, what I'd like to do is change it to major. That's very easy. All you do is you take the minor third, which in this case is B flat, move it to B natural, and do everything else the same, and you have G major. So what you have is this now. Okay, let's do some more variations on that. Okay, let's add the 7th of this and add it into the pattern here. So the 7th of G major is a F note. So where's an F note? There's the F note. Now let's find a way to add this into our arpeggio pattern that we have. Let's go like this. So far we have this. Let's add the 7th note and add an extra couple other notes that are in the arpeggio like this. So we are going to add 3 more notes to this pattern, and the new note is the 7th. So together we have this. Quickly it sounds like this. Okay? So what you can do is you can add these things on forever. I'll give you one more example, and then the rest I'll let you take it from there and hopefully come up with lots of different variations for yourself. Okay, why don't we make a variation by getting rid of a note as well and adding other notes. So let's get rid of one of the notes and add a whole bunch of others. Looks like this. And let's get rid of this note right there and just end here and go back up like this. So we're going to go like this slowly. Okay, all these notes, if you go by name, you have notes that are in a G7 arpeggio, except for the highest note, which is E, which is the 6th note in a G scale. So if you look at all the notes here, you have G, B, D, F right there, G again, B again, and this extra note, which is the 6th, which is E right there. All right? So together, our pattern, which is much longer now and has been revised many times, looks like this. Okay, so that's what you can do, and you can make variations forever. And that's the way you want to start thinking. Variations. Change that. Once you learn it this way, the way I just showed it to you, I want you to change that and come up with 3 or 4 other ways to do something similar. Okay, now let's make another variation on a picking pattern that I showed you before, and let's move it up into the key of C minor like this. I did a very basic picking pattern, but it's very important, especially when you're talking about playing quickly, is this pattern here with the 2 downstrokes and an upstroke. It looks like this. I did it before in G minor like this. Now let's just take this part of it and let's make some variations off that. Okay, quickly, it's like this. Okay, whenever you want to add an extra note to this thing like this, all you have to do is add a pull-off and an upstroke with your pick like this. However many times you want to add a note, all you have to do is have an upstroke with your pick and do a pull-off with your left hand. And it doesn't really matter where the note is, you're going to pick it the exact same way. So let's do a pattern like this, and this type of thing you can easily make variations from. Here's a simple pattern like this. Quickly, it looks like this. Slowly, it looks like this. Starting from the upstroke, but it's the same pattern. From that, you can make variations very easily. It's just a matter of how many notes you want to add into it. It's very simple. All you have to do is go. That's extreme about it, but you can add as many as you want or do less. It's just a matter of how many upstrokes you want to add in there and pull-offs. That's how you add to that. And that can become very fast.